Recording in progress.
Okay, welcome back for all of the participants. Now, we are moving forward to listen to the lecture session by Dr. Orracha Sae-Tun from Kasetsart University, Thailand, with the topic of soil health and carbon sequestration for sustainable production. Dr. Orracha Sae-Tun is joining us here in person. And this session, okay, maybe can we give applause to Dr. Orracha? Okay. And the session will be led by our moderator, Dr. Rizky Maftuha. We'll start the session by introducing our moderator, along with her academic and professional journey. Dr. Nateh Rizky Maftuha is a lecturer at Universitas Gadjah Mada with expertise in soil science and sustainable agriculture. She holds a doctoral degree from Boku University, Vienna, where she focused on restoring post-mining soils using local amendments. Dr. Rizky has led international research projects funded by Asia Uninet and Erasmus+, and her work has been presented at prestigious scientific forums, including the European Geosciences Union. Her recent publications highlight advancements in soil regeneration, heavy metal remediation, and tropical agroecosystems. Without further ado, please welcome our moderator in this session, Dr. Rizky Maftuha. The time is yours. Please.
Thank you very much for the MC. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you enjoy the coffee break and now have some energy to continue our season. And today we have the last season of today, and I hope you will enjoy it. As mentioned by the MC, I'm Rizky Maftuha, and today I will be your moderator. First of all, let us express our gratitude for the opportunity to gather here in good health to participate in this important session of the short course. The today's topic is about soil health and carbon sequestration for sustainable production. This topic is highly relevant in addressing global challenges like climate change, land degradation, and the urgent needs for sustainable production system. It is also my great pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker, Dr. Orracha Sae-Tun from Kasetsart University. Dr. Orracha is currently a lecturer at the Department of Silviculture, Faculty of Forestry, Kasetsart University, Thailand. She obtained her doctoral degree, similar with me, from the Boku University, also in the same institute, and she finished in 2022 with the doctoral research focus on microbial drivers and indicators for soil organic carbon sequestration as a key for soil health at various scales. So the topic today is very relevant with her background. In addition, she also holds the double degree of master program in European forestry from the institution in Finland and Austria. And at this moment, she has many extensive international research experience. For example, she was a postdoctoral researcher at Boku Vienna during 2023 until 2024. And before, she also working as the researcher at the Kasetsart University. Her research mostly focus on soil organic carbon and carbon sequestration mechanism, soil microbial processes, conservation farming system, and the restoration of degraded land, such as post-mining soil. In addition, she also actively contributes to the international communication and also presented some global conference such as European Geoscience Union General Assembly and also Tropentak. With her strong academic background and extensive research experience, we are very fortunate to have her with us today. Without further ado, I would like to invite Dr. Orracha to deliver her presentation. Dr. Orracha, please give your presentation.
Hey, hello, good afternoon. And so thank you for introducing me and thank you for the opportunity to invite me to be the guest speaker for this lecture, for this short course. And yes, it's my third time at UGM and we are friends, not the colleagues. We are friends. So then, as you say that we graduated from the same institute, and actually our office is next to each other. Yeah, because they don't have enough space at that time, so then we have to separate. Yeah, but for your, maybe for your experience, so just to share a bit my experience that it's not, the collaboration is not come because of the research or the work directly. It's just from some friendship or some good relationships, and then it's come to research. So this is a great opportunity for you here, especially on site and also for the online people that you can communicate. So it's maybe just talking about traveling, food, and some culture, and then it's come to the other bigger topic at the end, like today that you see. Yes. So, and for the presentation today, it's kind of related to what Dr. Rebecca just presented to you. Actually, she is one of our supervisory team for both of us. Yes. Yeah. And yep, today is about the soil health and carbon sequestration and sustainable production. So for this, from the background that I got the information from our the team from the short course team. So he said that you have various background. So then I try to put you on the same page. So we would, at least me, would not like to leave someone behind. But some of you may feel like, this is not so advanced, but please be calm a bit. So be patient a bit because somebody maybe is just like, what is this? It's completely new to them. Yep. So then, oops, it's not changed. It didn't change, is it? No. Up. So you know him, right? And also in the online. Yes? For this, before we start, I would like to ask for your participation. Just scan this QR code and say, at this moment, also for the online audience, so please join this session. Are you in a good health at this time, right now, that you're in a good health or you feel that it's not so good for you? Have I got the answer? Somebody already said that not in a good health, sorry for that. I hope that, okay. So I hope that during this session you can stay with us for the whole session. Okay, it's not only you at this moment, what I've just seen. Result a bit. So I'm happy to see the result that most of us, like 80%, 90% are in the good health at this moment. And also for the next question. Let us show you the upper one. Nope, not work. Oh, it's but anyway, in the meantime, so the next question is about if you feel ill, can you study or work well? This is just to answer to yourself. So, how does it work? Okay. Yep. Okay, it's a bit technical problem, but we figured now. So now you have to answer in your mind, right? So if you're in a good health, in general, you should have work or study pretty well. But if you're not, so it's kind of, so try it and you just want to throw everything away and just have a rest. So this is the concept also for the soil health. If the soil is healthy or in a good health, so it can work well, can serve us with the thing that it can do. It's also like our human health. Oops, sorry, next slide, please. And today in the lecture, as I said, like we have various backgrounds, so we will introduce you with the concept of soil health. But since we have very short time, so it's going to be the really brief concept. And also about the carbon sequestration, we will focus on soil carbon sequestration today and some practices, because they have plenty of practices to improve the soil health and carbon sequestration in the soil. But I just picked some that normally apply or operate in the field. Yes, thank you. So the concept of soil health, actually at this moment there is no exact definition for that. So I try to find the easier version or the simpler version of the definition that the researcher or the organization that related to the soil have been announced. Oops, it's work again. Thank you. So to conclude, because I picked these two because the one is from the FAO publication and the dower one, the below one, is from the working group that they work a lot on the soil health and soil carbon sequestration. So to conclude this, as you see the highlight of the text, so the black color saying that's the ability or the continuous capacity of the soil to sustain their work. And their work means soil functions. What is the soil function? We will go to that in a minute. And this function or this work is not only support us, not only for human, but also for our friends like the animal and plants and so on. This is the concept of soil health. Okay, now it's work. Yep. So this is the soil function. It's from the FAO. Yeah, I just want to summarize, like as you see in the diagram, that there's many function or many benefits that the soil can give to us. And I would like to summarize into 4 types according to the ecosystem services. So first, the one that we really familiar with is about the provisioning service that the soil can produce us, or we can get the products from the soil. For example, the food, wood, energy, like herbs or medicinal plants in that sense. And for the regulating and supporting service is the carbon sequestration, the climate change mitigation, the water purification and prevent the flooding something. Yep. And also for the biodiversity conservation, because the soil is the place where many organisms stay there. Maybe not us directly, but maybe in the past we stay in the soil, right? No, I'm not sure about this. Yeah, but anyway, the soil can help our cultural heritage. As you may realize that some places bury in the soil, and then we just discover later. So that is also another function of the soil in the cultural service, and also is the place that people can study, like some of us here study about the soil, making the education a lot of research from there. Okay, the concept of the soil health, it just emerged for 40 or 50 years ago. So it's relatively new compared to the soil fertility and soil quality. It originates from the soil quality concept, but the soil quality is just focused on the benefit that the soil can provide to human. But now it's jumped to the broader scale. That soil health is not includes only human, as I just say. And recently, in around 15 years ago, there's another word called soil security. So in future, maybe in some couple of years or few years, or even nowadays, you may have heard about the soil security. This is also the similar concept with the food security that all people can access and can utilize these without any problem. Yep. And like our human health, when we talk about health, our health, if we say that we are in a good health or not, it's not only saying that you have the weight in the standard or in the range, standard range, but you have to check not only the weight, the height, but with the blood pressure, heart rate, all together, right? The soil also. It's not only just one parameter or one indicator that can indicate that you have a good health, also with the soil. So it's the combination or the set of the properties, including the physical, chemical, and biological properties, and then all together indicate the soil. And if the soil is healthy, so then it means that they can do the good job, and they can support the function, they can work with the function that we just mentioned in sustainable way. That means it's just continuously work, not drop. Maybe improve, but not drop by. And this will lead us to the sustainable productivity. And this is the concept, just the summarized photo figures from the literature that with the soil health, we will get the sustainable production, food production in this case. And then when we get the good food, that means we have the food security to serve our populations. And it's not only the yield, but it's also related to the nutrition or the quality of the food that is produced. But at this moment, we have the problem with the soil because of it degraded all over the world. And many soil in the world is degraded. I cannot remember how many percent. I'm really bad in the number. Kiki knows this better. Yeah. Yeah. So, and the degradation is from the climate change, as you see, like really extreme event and so on, and also the mismanagement to the soil. And another point is about the land use change. Maybe we not talk about too much about the land use change in this short course, I think. Yep. And these all together just make the properties of the soil change, and when it's changed, then the function is also changed. This is the threat to the soil. And mainly the degradation of the soil is from the loss, not the mainly, sorry. Today we focus on the loss of the soil organic carbon because we talk about the carbon sequestration. And this in the map, you see like the red shading color is show that the soil have been decreased in productivities. And this is also the map showing that with the green color is the place that where we can use the soil to produce the crop without any high input. So in this globe, it's just few, or not few, but some places. Let's have a look at, Let's have a look in our Southeastern Asia. So it's mainly in the brown or in the yellow color. So that means we have to have some more input. That means our farmers have to pay some money. It costs something. Yeah, so then the cost for production is a bit higher than in the green area. So this is also contributed to the sustainable concept. If our farmer cannot afford to put for example, the fertilizer in their field, so that means our food production, for example, will decrease at some point if they not put this fertilizer. And this is why the soil health related to the SDG or the Sustainable Development Goals. In the blue color blocks is the direct relationship between the soil health and the SDG. So especially there. For example, the zero hunger goals, and also the life on land, and also the climate change mitigation. And in this slide, or this also with the online, I would not like to have the answer whether A or B have the better health, but for your perspective, for what you have seen, just answer in your mind like which one is better, and the one that I would like to know is about how you can tell this. What the difference between these two? Yeah, you can scan the QR code and this work. Some say that the darker color, oh, I should be in the silence because somebody may steal this answer. There's so many ways of answer. So some say that is the color, the porosity, the moisture, the appearance, some rules inside, and what else? Yeah, I can group for that 3 or 4 answer. So from the photo that you see, so as I say, like I will not answer or give the answer whether which one is better. But the thing that I would like to point is that when you consider the soil is in a good health or not, you have to check for many aspects as the physical, chemical, and biological. For example, somebody say that the root, and some say the color, and the color related to, for example, the organic matter content, and some moisture. Yep, that is the porosity. Sorry, porosity that related to the physical properties. So that the combination. Then at this moment, we have not yet have the exact soil health indicators. So when you work with the soil health indicator or indication, you have to mix them, like the set of the properties together, and it's also based on what your focus, but have to combine the 3 aspects of the soil together. For this, in the white arrow, this is also the properties that potentially can be the one of the best indicator, like together with the other. But at this moment, the method to measure these properties is not that so easy. It's still complex and costly. So that in the future, if we can develop the affordable and simpler method, this can move into the center and can be used as the soil health indicator better than at this time. The principle of soil health is also like us, like we have to have the good mentality, good physical something, and have a good sleep, something like that, right? But for the soil, we have to minimize the disturbance, maximize the living root, maximize the soil cover, and maximize the soil biodiversity. All together, these strategies, like working together, what we will get from the soil is, what the response of the soil is, the organic matter will be increased, the soil biodiversity will be increased, nutrients, and also the water retentions. At the same time, the soil compaction, erosion, and the surface runoff will be decreased. This is what we will see when we try to improve the soil health. And this will be related to the soil functions. But we say that, we already improve our soil. We do this and that and those. But what to keep in mind that when you apply something, it's not suddenly changed. It may change in some indicators or some parameters, but in general, it takes time. And it also depends on the practices that you use. I cannot say, and nobody in this world can say which one is the solution to improve the soil health, because it's also related to the site condition that's different from place to place. This is an example, the strategy. I will not go for the details, don't worry. But if you're interested, you can go into the literature. I have already give the citation there. But what to point out here is in the green box, that whenever you try to improve the soil function or the soil health, what usually or normally improve is the soil organic carbon. And this, I guess that many of you, or maybe all of you, are really familiar with this carbon cycle. So it just starts from the atmosphere and through the photosynthesis and make the plant biomass. And then when the plants die or the organism died, so it's just decomposed by the soil microorganism or the decomposer, and some release back to the atmosphere as the carbon dioxide or methane. So it depends on which mechanism they have. And the rest stay in the soil. So this is called fast carbon cycle. I just try to focus on the terrestrial ecosystem because we talk about the soil, but it's also happen in the ocean, in the marine ecosystem as well. They call this is fast carbon cycle because it can happen within our human lifetime. There's another one is for the inorganic carbon that will take more than 100,000 years something. Yeah. And besides the natural cycles, we as a human just accelerate the carbon released back to the atmosphere by the use of fossil fuel. And this come to the carbon budget at this moment. As you see in the black circle, that is the emission from us, from human. That's a lot that emit every year. And we cannot take them back because the reservoir that to store them is in the vegetation, in the soil, and some in the ocean. But if it's a lot of carbon dioxide, for example, jump into the ocean, it will change, for example, the pH of the water, and then that will cause, not will, because it already happened. So it's caused the other problem in the marine ecosystem. Anyway, just leave it to the marine ecosystem. We're jumping back into our terrestrial. So as you see, the carbon stock or the carbon that's stored in the soil is larger than in the vegetation. This is for the global scale. But still, it's not enough to remove the carbon from the atmosphere, as you know, from the climate change effect. And at this moment, in 2024, 2025, there's the record that we have 50%, around 50% of carbon dioxide concentration greater than the pre-industrial era. We are quite good in release back the carbon dioxide. Yeah, so at this moment is around 400 something ppm. But in the past, in the pre-industrial era, it's just 200 something ppm carbon dioxide. And this is related to our climate change, right? Our global warming. And what us, as a human, try to do is to at least not leave the carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. That means we try to really how much we release, and then we take all that what we release back to other reservoirs or other pools. So we would not like to have the additional adding carbon dioxide or carbon into our atmosphere. This have the principle or the idea behind, because if we still keeping releasing the carbon dioxide or the carbon to the atmosphere, so then the global warming will be worse and worse, right? And by 2050, there is the concept of the net zero emission. The question is where we can store our carbon that we release, like where we can store after capturing back. Yeah, and how we can do that. This is to keep our world under, not to get the temperature more than increase more than 2 degrees Celsius. Because now we cannot reach the first goal, because they try to make it happen before 2026, but yeah, we are now, and we are not successful at it. So then they extend to 2050, and we will see like how good of us to do this. And this is the concept that Dr. Rebecca tried to introduce to you, but she has run out of time. So then it's the 4 per mil concept. This is the idea to get the net zero emission. That means we have to store the carbon in the soil 0.4% each year. That means we have to store our released carbon 0.6 ton carbon per hectare per year to get this mission complete. And where? From the right-hand graph, so the agricultural soil is one of the potential place to store the carbon. But maybe you have wondered about why the forest vegetation is much more higher, but why we still focus on the soil, because we are in the agricultural sector at this moment. Actually, my background is in forestry, I would say, yeah. And this word maybe is confused you a bit, some of you. At the beginning, I myself also confused the word between carbon stock and carbon sequestration. The carbon stock is the absolute value or absolute amount of the carbon that's stored in the place or in the pool at specified time. But the carbon sequestration is the process of removal the atmospheric carbon to other pools. So if we talk about the absolute quantity, it's referred to carbon stock. And in the soil, we can jump into this. As I just say, like we have the organic carbon and inorganic carbon. So the difference between these two forms of the carbon in the soil is that for the organic one is highly dynamic. It's changed really fast. And related to nutrient cycle, many nutrients that related from during the decomposition process, as Dr. Rebecca says about the mineralization, and it's related to the biomass production. It's also the source of energy for the soil microorganism. And the other point is more manageable because it's only our lifetime that we can manage. But for the inorganic one, the one that you know better is about the carbonate, the carbon form in the carbonate form. And these have a really long storage time in the soil. But we're not sure whether we will see our success in store the carbon in inorganic form. At least I myself will die before see that this is our mission complete. Yeah, and mostly it's found in the arid and semi-arid area. This is the number. I have noted because I cannot remember. So for the carbon pool, as I just said, that the soil store more carbon than in the vegetation. But if we have a look at this moment, so the carbon stock in the terrestrial vegetation and the carbon that's just floating around in the atmosphere, both together is less than what our soil at this moment store. But please note that the carbon in the soil can also be reached or lost from the soil system, not back to the atmosphere, but also to the water, to the marine, or to the stream as well. This graph is to show you the carbon stock that we talk about is in global scale. But when we have a look on the place, from place to place, the number or the amount that's stored in the soil is different. And this is, they divide into the different ecosystem or climatic zone. And what you have seen here, in moist or wet tropical area, most of the carbon stored in the vegetation, some stored in the soil, but most is in the vegetation. In the opposite way, in the boreal or in the wet and cold climate, more carbon is stored in the soil than in the vegetation. Yeah, this is our advantage, that our soil microbes is really active here. So then they work really well. They decompose a lot and then release back the carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. But that is not their fault, it's nature. Yeah. So then don't blame them, please. Yeah. But anyway, in here, as you see in the table, from this table, I would like to point that even though we have not high density of carbon stored in the soil, but we have the huge area of the soil. So then it's kind of compensate a bit. But if we have a look in the wetland, the carbon that can be stored in the wetland for the per unit area unit, yep, is really high, 700 something megagram carbon per hectare. But all over the world, the area that covered by the wetland is less than our tropical soil. So finally, it's just very similar in total. Please, next slide. No, it's not work again. So this is the map. Show you that where the carbon is more condensed or concentrate with the darker color, so it's more carbon stored in the soil. As you see in Indonesia or in our Southeast Asia, is rather dark because we have the wetland area as well. You say that it's also the tropical, but in the previous slide you say that the soil in the tropics is not contain many carbons, but in Indonesia have the huge wetland, the peatland. And this is for us, we realize that this is destroyed quite fast due to the land use change. Yeah, so we can save the world a bit by decreasing the land use change, but it's not the topic of this of today's lecture. And this is what the carbon sequestration that I already told you. But it has a tiny note, not tiny, but it's quite impact that if we want to have the effect on the climate change mitigation, the soil that we capture back from the atmosphere have to stay in, the carbon dioxide or the carbon that we capture from the atmosphere and store into the soil have to stay in the soil for a long period of time. Otherwise, it just emit back to the atmosphere, and this is not count for the decreasing or mitigate the climate change severity. Yes, but we can jump into the next one. Where we can find the soil organic carbon is in the soil organic matter. Yeah, because 50–60% of the soil organic matter is carbon, is contained 50–60% of carbon. So then sometimes when we talk about the soil organic carbon and soil organic matter, some people, or sometimes it's also me, we use it interchangeable, yep. And this organic matter, some of you may like, what is the organic matter? So for the soil scientists, the soil organic matter is the organic material that decomposed at various states. So not necessary to be like at the end of the decomposition process. It can be any state of the decomposition and has to have a size less than 2 millimeters. If it's greater than or larger than 2 millimeters, we just like classify it not the soil organic matter, is some organic material, some other size thing. Yeah. And it's also include the soil organism because we cannot easily separate those microorganisms out from our soil, from our organic matter. So then we include them also. But if we have a look on the percentage of those components, we will see that most of the component of the soil organic matter is the decomposing and stabilized organic matter. It's just few amount with the fresh residue, with the fresh litter, and with the living organism. And to add something more to you, the soil organic carbon is not the thing that decomposed, but it is also something that related to the root exudate, because this is also the organic compound that contain carbon as well. And these compound can be used by the soil microbe and also can store in the soil as well. I will not go into really detail from this graphic, but for this one, I just would like to point that the organic carbon we can also classify into the labile or active one and to the stabilized pool one. What's the difference? The labile or the active, they have really fast turnover time, maybe just a few years, 1 or 2 years. But for the stabilized one is more than decades or even more than hundreds years. And the stability of this, from the name, as you see, the labile, the active one, is just easy to be decomposed, so the stability is low. But the stabilized one is high in the stability. And what makes this high stability is kind of the very last stage of the decomposition. So that means the microbe not prefer to eat it anymore. They also can use them, these complex or these stable carbon, but really slow. That's one thing, like less degradable material. But those material can also be protected in the soil aggregates. This is another protection level, like they have the wall, and then these organic matters stay inside the wall. It's not necessary that this organic matter or organic carbon that stay inside this wall is less degradable or still active. But within this, the soil microorganism not easily use or eat them. That's one thing. And another thing is associate or attached to the surface of the soil mineral. For example, the clay minerals and the iron oxide and aluminum oxide, which is quite a lot in our tropical climate. Yeah, this is this associated organic carbon stay in the soil for a long time because it's attached to that, to the clay mineral, for example. And then the microbe is not strong enough to take out this carbon from the clay. And this is just for those who are not so familiar with what is the soil aggregate. So we have like the soil particles stay together and form the larger site and larger site. And within the larger site, they have the smaller aggregate inside. And that is also protect the organic carbon inside there. We don't have enough time to go for the detail for that, and maybe it's too detailed for some of you or so. Anyway, for the form of the carbon, that organic carbon that we saw, like the pools, the active one and the stable one. So what I would like to point out here is that the 60%, around 65% of the carbon in the soil is in the mineral associated or attached to the soil particle or soil minerals. And this is about 30 to 50% of the total terrestrial carbon. So that means most of the carbon stored in the terrestrial ecosystem and in the soil is associated with the soil minerals. That means it's more stable, right? So, and this, when we capture the carbon from from the atmosphere and is stored in the active and the stable or stabilized carbon. This will help us to remove the carbon from the atmosphere and help with the climate change mitigation. Do you think like what else that the carbon that we capture from the atmosphere and store in the soil will provide the benefit for us, for our ecosystem? If we decrease the, if we have more, the soil sequester more carbon, it will only help in climate change mitigation, or it have the other benefits? So don't worry, if you answer yes or no, whether it's correct or incorrect, will not give any extra point to you, or is not related to the whether you will get the certificate after this course or not. So most of you answer that it's not only decrease the atmospheric carbon, and the explanation about this is when the soil organic carbon increase, so that means we increase the soil organic matter, right? And this organic matter related to many soil properties and have provide many benefits. So it's not only direct benefit from the carbon, but it also the benefit with the material or the pool that have contained this carbon. This is the main advantage besides the climate change mitigation. So first, the water retention, the water holding capacity is increased in the soil. And this will promote the drought resilience for the plants, and also the water use efficiency for the plants. So that means our crops can grow or still survive during the dry period or long dry period. And for the then for the aggregate stability is increased as well, because when the microorganisms do their job, they release some organic compounds, and also the plant roots as well. They release some organic compound, and those compounds can help the soil particle to form the aggregates, and these become more stabilized or more stable. Yep, and this will then improve the soil structure. If the soil have better structure, so and it will have also the porosity, so the water infiltration, the aeration is better. So then it will improve the water infiltration. That means the risk of the erosion and runoff is, and compaction is decreased. So this is the physical benefit that we can get. This is an example. I will not go for the detail because we don't have that much time. But what would like to point here that the soil organic carbon is decreased with the soil depth. That means most of the soil organic carbon stay in the upper layer of the soil. It also stay in the deeper layer, but the concentration of those carbon is less. But these deeper carbon is kind of untouchable because it stays there. And normally our management system or the management practice that we use is mostly have the effect on top or to the upper layer. So that means the deeper one is untouchable. And this is another example that's showing if we increase the soil organic matter or soil organic carbon, then the aggregate stability will increase as well. For the chemical aspect, the cation exchange capacity, for some of you, like, what is the cation exchange capacity? So let's turn it to be more simpler, to be simpler. When we have the organic matter and or organic carbon, so the nutrients can be stay in the soil for longer time, so that it will not easily leach out or step away from our soil. So that means our plant can have more time to take up or uptake or use the nutrients from the soil, especially in the sandy soil with the low clay content. And for the nutrient cycling, this is kind of not directly with the soil organic carbon, but with the soil organic matter, because 50%, 60% is carbon, but the other 40, 50% is also another element or other compounds that contain nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. This is the nutrients that the microbe need. And during the decomposition process, they will also release those back to the soil, and then the plant can take it back. This is just the example saying that when the soil organic carbon and soil microbial biomass carbon increase, so the availability of phosphorus, potassium, calcium, and magnesium also increase. For the biological aspect, this is our key player, the soil microorganism. So the activity of the soil microbes is increased because they have the carbon, the source of their food, is more and more like us. When we have food, like enough food, we happy to work, we have the energy to do our job, to study, to do other activity, playing, this and that. Yeah, this also as the soil microorganisms. And this is also diversify the microbial communities, because we have food and then they have the place to stay, the soil improve in the other, like not only the nutrients, but also the water and the air, because the structure is better. So then they happy to stay there. And then it will lead to the benefit to the plants, because the disease and the health of the plants will be, the disease is suppressed, then the plant health is become better. And this, we can note that the microbial activity is the sensitive indicator of the soil biological indicator, but it's still not easy to measure. It's sensitive. Like if something changed, so this microbial activity or the response from the soil microbe is really fast to respond, but for us to measure how they respond is not easy at this moment, and it's quite costly. Yeah. And for the crop, together with the physical, chemical, and the microbe activities, so the crops or the plants get the benefit that they have more nutrients, they have not more, but sufficient nutrients and sufficient water. So then they improve their growth and then their yield. And this is just the example. This research is not mine, sorry about this. this research saying that when they add the litter, this is the source of soil organic material, to the soil, so tenfold of the microbial respiration have occur, and then it double the microbial biomass. It's not only the yield that will increase by when we improve the soil or the soil get more organic carbon or organic matter, but this would like to point you that it's also related to the quality of our food. In this case, it say that the nitrogen from the organic matter will promote the yield and also the protein content. That is what Dr. Rebecca say, like the importance of the nitrogen in the biological perspective, and some of us have answered that is contributed to the DNA and so on, and this is contributed to the protein. Yeah. But for the soil organic carbon itself, from this study, it showed that it related to the zinc content. So that means we can improve our food quality if we manage it properly. And in this study, they also note that if we increase the soil organic matter by 1%, it's equal or can supply the nutrient needs for 0.5% per hectare. So that means at this moment, with this organic matter level, the nutrients for 1% is sufficient. But if we increase this by 1%, increase the amount of organic matter by 1%, so then another half person can get the benefit from this nutrient. Yeah. So this is just to summarize that the carbon sequestration will have an effect on the soil health improvement and to the crop growth and yield, to the better environment or the other ecosystem service. And this will also help in the cost reduction, because when the soil are in a good health, they can do their function. Automatically, we don't have to do or put a lot of input. That means the cost will be reduced. And then it leads to the food security and also the human well-being. At the same time, it's not the one direction effect, so it has the feedback. When the crop or the plant is growing well, so it can also provide more biomass, and that is the litter later on. So the plant litter, and it contribute back to the soil organic carbon or soil organic matter. And also when our soil store more carbon, so then the climate hopefully will be, like the climate change will be less severe. And that means ours is also have an effect on the carbon sequestration process, because the temperature is lower, which is not the case at this moment, but at least it's not so extreme. The water or the rainfall is not so extreme. So then it's allowed the sequestration process can be done.
Orracha, sorry for disturbing you. We have 5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So then we jump to the practice, but before that, I would like to point here that this research saying that if we want to improve our yield, is the most effective driver is the nitrogen fertilization. Even though at this moment we try to improve the soil organic carbon sequestration, but it's still far from the optimum level. So where can we, or how, oops, sorry. Oops. So the strategy is, oh, sorry. Doop, doop, doop. So the strategy is to restore the degraded soil because these soil have very low organic matter and organic carbon. So this is the highly potential place that we can store the carbon. And at the same time, we can also improve our practice, the agricultural practice, to let our soil store more carbon. And the example is reduce tillage intensity. This is related to the soil health concept that decrease the soil disturbance. And from this, the research showing that the physically protected carbon has more distribution to the difference between the conservation tillage and the no tillage. And the result in general saying that with no tillage system, the soil store more carbon. And for the next is about the carbon input and covering the soil with some organic material. And this, oops, oops, sorry. No, can you change the slide? Ah, now it's top. Sorry. Oops, sorry, back. Oops, sorry. Oops. No. Go to the bar chart with the red arrow. Sorry. In the soil covering. Previous. Yeah, this. Okay, this one. So when we try to cover the soil with the plant residue or with the living plants, for the living plants we call it cover crop. With the plant residue, it's just the dead material. And from this study, it's showing that when we add or use the organic material like the plant residue to cover the soil, it will enhance the soil carbon sequestration. And in this study, they also incorporate the tillage system. And it's saying that with the no tillage system, the soil, together with the plant residue covering, the soil can sequester more carbon than with the conventional one. But when we look, oops. But when we look at the yield, so that is the soil perspective, right? But when we look at the yield, so it depends on the species, because for the rice, the paddy rice, yeah, for the rice one, so it's not promote or increase the rice yield, but for the wheat, it increased the wheat yield. Yep. So for this, I would like to point that the practices have to be concerned, like the integration of the practices and also the crop species need to keep in mind, like whether it's suitable or this or not, because it helps the soil, but finally we have to get the yield. So which one is better? And this is another example that they use the fertilization, the crop covering, and the tillage system together. And from this study, they found that when use the nitrogen fertilizer with the cover crop and with no tillage, it has the better result, like can promote the soil organic carbon than when they apply the conventional tillage. And for the biochar, I will not go into detail for this because we have a quite discussion with Dr. Rebecca already. But what I would like to point out here is this is the result from our Bangka project with Dr. Kiki and the research team. From moment, this photo. So on the left hand is our experimental plot, and we found that in this experiment, if we use charcoal together with the compost, so then the productivities and the soil health is getting better than using charcoal alone or without any soil amendment use. And on your right-hand side, this is the post-tin. All of them is the post-tin mining area. In the middle is the Kaolin Lake, right? It's called Kaolin Lake in Bangka. So we can, if we do nothing or it's just some little practices, it's just like that. But on the left, we try to reclaim the soil. And on the right, that happened in Thailand, in the south of Thailand, 40 years ago. So we tried to plant the acacia, the legume species, and now it looks like that.
Sorry, Orracha.
Yeah. And the last one is agroforestry. So this is just the case study from cacao agroforestry in Sulawesi. I just found this, and it say that when they use the agroforestry system, the soil organic carbon that not significantly increase, but what we, at least me, find here that the amount of the litter is increased when we apply the agroforestry. So then it's come to the conclusion, you know, at this moment, what the concept of the soil health and the carbon sequestration is not only mitigate the climate, but it's also have the role in soil health improvement. And there is the feedback loop among them. And integrated and innovative practice is needed. And so that's all. And before, not at this moment, but at the end of the session, after the discussion, so please visit this and we would like to get your feedback. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Orracha, for the interesting lecture about the soil health and also the carbon sequestration. Now we will continue with the discussion section. If you have any question, please raise your hand. For the online participant, you can also write your question in the chat box, or you can raise your hand. Okay, please. If you have any question. Yeah, okay. Please, your name and institution first.
Good day, I am Isaac, or you could call me Sam, and I am from De La Salle Araneta University. And my question is, since you have studied well the detail about soil sequestration of carbon, how would you convince the farmers in Thailand, specifically in rice production, on adding carbon or carbon sequestration to the soil? How would you convince them?
So that is very tricky question, I would say, because I myself, when I work in Thailand, is not with the farmer in the agricultural sector. That's the truth. But anyway, it depends on the nature of the farmer. What I have seen or the research have seen in Austrian case, so the farmer is based on the scientific evidence. Yeah. But in Thailand is another story, because our farmer will follow what they believe. Even the research, like the really advanced or something, like showing that this is the best way, but they will not believe you until somebody means that it's not the research, not the researcher or the company, but the other farmer, some farmer do it and get the results. So that means we should try to find the innovative or the farmer that have very strong will to try this and get the better result compared to what they have been done. Yeah, so we have to demonstrate in the really farmer scale. Yep.
Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, for the online participants, if you have any question, please raise your hand or you can write the question in the chat box. Okay, please.
Hello. So hi, my name is Norvin Soriano, and I'm from the LSAU as well. So I would just like to ask the question whether if like organic soil sequestration has it can there be a chance that it can be comparable to like synthetic like fertilizer use or synthetic or what you call this um, yeah, like man-made solutions for crop growth, crop yield. So can there be like can there be like can it be like what you call this comparable to how much crop growth and crop yield you can get from in like synthetic fertilizers?
So excuse me, can you repeat the question again? So the comparable between the synthetics or the chemical fertilizer to what? Sorry, I missed that.
To like promoting soil organic matter in carbon sequestration.
You mean when using the chemical fertilizer, can it promote the soil organic carbon? Is that in that way or?
No, more on like can the yield of the crops
Yeah.
can be comparable to when you use when you do like promote only soil organic matter, and then can it be comparable to the yield or what we can get from synthetic fertilizers? Because I think the one of the major challenges in promoting organic matter use is the yield that you can get.
Yeah.
So can there be like can it reach that level of production basically?
So if we promote or use the material that promote the soil organic carbon alone and compare to the using of the chemical fertilizer, the crop growth and yield are comparable or not? Is that the question?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry.
So then I would say for the crop yields, if we just think about the yields, for the from what I have read and observed by myself, so it depends on the soil at first. If the soil is used for the agricultural purpose, like in general, so the use of the fertilizer, the chemical fertilizer will have like very effective result on the crop growth and yield compared to the organic carbon increasing alone. Anyway, because we have to have the crop productivities. But in case of our very degraded soil, for example, the post-mining soil, if we use only the chemical fertilizer, it will not help because it's nothing to catch the nutrients from the chemical fertilizer in the soil. So when we just add and when the rainfall, it just go to any place. So our crop will not get benefit from those chemical fertilizer. And actually, many research saying that it must be combined. So it's not only the increasing of the soil organic carbon and not only using the chemical fertilizer, but we have to combine. Because if we jump back to the concept of the soil health, it's the combination of the physical, chemical, and biological properties. If we use only the chemical fertilizer, for sure, the chemical properties or the nutrients content is increased. But the other, for example, the soil porosity, the soil structure, and the microbe, there's not enough food because they need the carbon. Yeah, and they need the place to hide themselves from other enemies or other harsh condition. Yeah, so when the plant grow, they also need the water, right? It's not only the nutrients, so it's water, and it's also the air, because the plant roots also need the air to respire. Yeah. So then if the structure or the porosity is not in a good condition, so that means the plant root is not well developed. And when we add a lot of our chemical fertilizer, so that means that it just go to someplace else because the root cannot catch. It's just like, yeah, small root system. Yep.
Thank you. So basically, you use some, like, in summarization, so promoting soil organic matter can increase, can make the soil more healthier, which means, so it prolongs soil fertility and maintains soil quality.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. It like us that we not only take the additional vitamin, but we also have to have like physical exercise and so on. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Orracha. We have another question from the Zoom in the chat box. Like, given the limited resources available to smallholder farmers. Okay. Given the limited resources available to smallholder farmers in Sahelian countries like Burkina Faso, what are some cost-effective strategies they can adopt to improve soil health and increase crop resilience to climate variability?
Yeah. I just have little background knowledge about the African countries, but from friends from Burkina Faso, fortunately, yeah, he mentioned something about the cattle production. So then that's maybe the source of the organic material that can be used to the crop productions. Yeah, so this is coming to the circular or green economy concept, that instead of just leave it somewhere, we can use those residues for improving the soil. But this may need some technology that advanced but affordable and can be done at the small holder or small farm scale. For example, the biochar production that Dr. Rebecca just said from her African project, the project in African countries, we can use the residue from other sector. not only from the cattle production, but also from the agricultural waste to make it like the biochar, for example, or make the compost, or using it as the material, yeah, and adding to the soils. That would be the quick idea at this moment for the country that have less green material, I would say, compared to our tropical country here in Indonesia. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Dr. Orracha. We have one online participant, Laude Abdul Aziz Hasidu. Please.
Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
we
yes.
hear you well.
So my name is Laude Abdul Aziz Hasidu, and I am working in an agricultural extension for West Mona. So, as an agricultural extension, I am assigned to an area that still relies on shifting farming. So they actually move from one area to another area, and they get back to the previous area when they thought it is already safe or it is already available to be planted again. Do you have some kind of like a research of a comparison between shifting farming and intensive farming in terms of soil health and then biodiversity and the efficiency? Because from what I see, if they apply some kind of like intensive farming, they need a lot of both chemical or organic fertilizer. Moreover, they also have to spend a lot of money on, what is that? Carrying or carrying the land. So, is there any research about the comparison of it in terms of soil health and efficiency? Thank you.
So thank you for the question and for the shifting, right? That when you use the land for some times and then you move to the other and then leave the previous land for some time and until you come back to it again, right? Yeah, the shifting
Yes.
cultivation. Yeah. Okay, so there is some research going on that, for example, in Thailand, but maybe it's not directly compare, but they have the study the soil properties at least from the former time, because the soil health concept is not well said in Thailand at this moment. Yep, so previously they study on the soil properties, and then they have the intensive or the conventional farming, yeah, compared to each other. Yes, but I cannot remember the result at this moment. But what they say, like the shifting cultivation, if it's still like in the same concept, like they have the resting period, some like quite some time, like the what to say, the rotation is quite long. So then the soil health or soil properties can be recovered. So then when they coming back and use again, so they use less input than the conventional farming. And this is actually just to share with you. At this moment, our farmers in the, that's once they use the shifting cultivation, they change their style. So they shift to the, instead of shifting farming or shifting agriculture, they used to, they use the intensive farming instead. And this is based on the income that they get, and also the promotion from the buyer of the product. yeah, it's kind of related to some idea of contract farming in our country, in Thailand, I would say. Yeah. The shifting cultivation, the rotation is then, if some still do the shifting cultivation, but the rotation is shorter than it used to be. So this also one story. Pardon? Hello? That's still there? Yeah. So anyway, there is some research going on, but I am sorry that I cannot get the number or remember the result in mind at this moment. But normally, if I from my from my memory, it's like the shifting cultivation is can recover the soil properties. If we talk about the concept of soil health, it can help in recovering the soil health, but it depends on the farmer because it's something related to the income. Yeah. Did I answer your question?
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
So, as a reflection of myself, like I have to make sure that the farmers should wait until a long rotation to make sure that the land will healthy again, and then like in the same time, I also have to educate them about intensive farming as well. But we have to make sure that what is that? You have to consider the efficiency in terms of what they get or the return.
Yeah, sometimes
Thank you so much.
Yeah, sometimes it's tricky. It's something related to the politics as well, like the policy that they try to promote something like that, at least from our country.
Yeah, because it's very hard to change their culture. Like, even though if I introduce them about intensive farming and do not move from other areas or open the new land, the new areas again, but you know, it's a typical traditional farming. It takes time, but sometimes I also consider if they apply some intensive farming, there would be more money that they have to spend, like the fertilizer and the what is that, pesticides as well, because it's very prone to pest attack if they remain in the same area. Thank you so much.
Hello, I have a question out of curiosity. What happened after the study at the post-tin mining site? So after you got your results, did they continue to do the soil amendments, or what happened afterwards? Was there a follow-up?
So at this moment, the experimental plot is still going on, right? Yeah, at least on Bangka's Island, and the case in Thailand, as you see on the presentation. So at this moment, the place that you can see like that is only in the research station. Yep, because the land has been used for other purpose, not for the mainly is for tourism. That is more will give you more income. So then in that area, some land still be planted with the oil palm, but the productivity is low. So there's story about this that the people or the landowner who use that land for oil palm plantation, it's just for hobby. Yeah, because they get the money from the other business. Yeah, and then they just like don't know what or have no idea how or what to do with this land, so they just plant the oil palm. Yeah, and get just a few money compared to what they have invest. Yeah, but at least something going on, not the bad land. Yeah, but in Bangka, It's just because it's recently set up, the research is in 2018
Yeah,
that
in
we said.
2018, but
Yeah.
also we have a problem because like mostly the people there as a miners, not the farmers. So it is also quite difficult to shift from the miners to the farmers, because if you are miners, you can how to say, it is like easy money. When you dig a hole and then you will get the tin and you will get money, but then the environment is destroyed because mostly they are like local people, like illegal mining, so it's uncontrolled. But for the farmers, how to say, it's like for sustainable is good. However, at the first, it's very difficult because the soil is very degrade, unfertile. So we need to add more organic matter in the soil and need times to increase the production. That's why not all the people in Bangka can easily shift from the miners to the farmers, something like that.
Yeah, that also the case because in Thailand, in where we have the experimental site, so the former time there's also the owner of the mine. So then that's why they're rich and they just do the oil palm plantation for hobby. Yeah, but this is the different from the local people in Bangka because most of them are the really like the worker in the mining in the mine. Is not the owner of the land. Yeah.
Orracha, we have 3 more questions in the chat box. First, how to identify soil health for planting and why black soil is rich nutrition comparison than the white soil.
So the first question is about the assessment of the soil health,
Yeah,
right?
how to identify.
How to
soil health.
identify. So at this moment, as I just present that they are not exact the indicator that used. So then you have to combine those indicator together, and basically it should be something that related to chemical, physical, and biological properties. And for the biological is now like not so easy to measure. So then we can use the indirect indicator, for example, the organic carbon fraction or the total organic carbon, but the total organic carbon is actually not very sensitive to the change. Yep. So then we have to be careful if we use that. And the other is about the maybe porosity or the water holding capacity. That would be another one for the physical properties. And for the chemical property, at least should be the pH one, because it's the mother of the chemical soil properties. Yeah, and easy to measure. And also the nutrient contents, like the NPK, yeah, for that. And then combine those together. And actually it's also depend on the purpose of the assessment, because if for crop production you may need the nutrient concentration, right? But if you or if somebody just would like to see the other function, for example, the water infiltration or the water purification, it should be the other set of the indicators. Yeah, and did I complete the?
Sorry. Why the black soil is rich nutrition comparison than the white soil?
So in general, the darker soil, I would not say the black soil. Is that okay? So it's the darker color one. Normally is related to the content of the organic matter. So this is the color of the humus or the humify organic matter. So then that is the main reason. But please be careful, because it's also in some cases the black color, like the black one, is from manganese. Yeah. But this is just in just some case, but in general, the darker color or the black color is from the organic matter, and these organic matter have the benefit to the soil, like in many ways, in to retain the nutrients and to improve the soil water holding capacity, to improve the soil structure and so on. That's why it's more fertile than the pale one or than the white one. Yep. And the organic matter itself is also the source of the nutrients. So then it's not only the carbon but also the nutrients. So that when we think about the nutrition, so then the darker color is also rich in nutrients than the paler or than the white one. Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Orracha. For the next question about do conservation agriculture practice such as no-till, cover cropping, reduce disturbance, or maybe reduce tilling, maybe yeah, preserve SIC, soil inorganic carbon, as well as they preserve SOC, or do the mechanism differ, like different soil types, like for example sandy versus clay heavy, change the effectiveness of this practice?
Yes, it's changed. So it's depend. For the second question first, so the effectiveness of the practices that uses really depend on the site, especially the soil texture, because we cannot easily change the soil texture. Yep. So for the clay one, so if you do plowing like too often, so the soil is really easily compact. So then the result will be different from the more sandy one. So it's still like give the negative or the negative impact or negative result, but the degrees of the severity or the effect is different from different sites. Yeah, that's one thing. And what's about the first question? Sorry.
Sorry, cover cropping, reduce disturbance, preserve soil inorganic carbon, as well as they preserve the soil organic carbon.
Okay. So the soil inorganic carbon is related to the carbonate. So then those from what I have read or studied, I'm not touched much with the inorganic carbon, but the inorganic carbon is mainly for in our agriculture is in the calcium carbonate or something carbonate content. Yes, and it's mainly used by during the lambing. What is it called? Lambing practice. Yeah. If we use the tillage or conservation practices, so it's not much related to the inorganic carbon because it's stored in the rock or in the geology of that area. But what we manage is the soil. Yep. So and the tillage have more effect on the soil organic part or in the organic form, not the inorganic one. Yeah, that what I have studied about. Yep. But the inorganic, there's, I would say, from what I have been deal with, so the inorganic carbon in agriculture is less studied the researcher or the scientist not pay many or much attention to the inorganic carbon because it's not easy to manage, and it's long story. Like if we have something used into like the lambing used into the soil is the carbonate content. Yeah, and it's just there.
Okay, thank you, Orracha. We have the last question. Sorry, it's already end up the time, but maybe you can have a short answer about it. Yeah, the last question. It is a very interesting topic for me. However, may I have more elaboration about how to increase soil organic matter 1% could reduce nutrient needs of an extra 0.5% per hectare. I think it is in your slide. Yeah. How to, may I have more elaboration, how to increase soil organic matter 1% could reduce nutrient needs of an extra 0.5% per hectare.
So it's how to increase or how they calculate.
Yeah. Maybe this is also from Mr. Laude. Maybe you can give a short explanation. Mr. Laude, are you still here?
So, sorry.
Explain about your question.
Yeah. So, based on your slide, I see that organic, where is it? Soil organic matter, the increase of soil organic matter 1% could actually reduce the nutrient needs of an extra 0.5% per hectare. Would you like to elaborate about it?
I mean the calculations or how they can increase 1% of soil organic matter or what? Sorry, I didn't get it. Sorry about that.
It can be both. Like how is the calculation and how it, like the process from 1% to from increasing soil organic matter 1% could actually reduce the nutrient needs.
I try to answer this question. If I'm not if I don't answer your question, please let me know. So for the calculation, I have not go into the detail, but I post the reference or the citation in the slide, so then you can check how they calculate, because it's not my study. So it's from the researcher who study in, I think it's also from African country. Yes. And how to increase 1% is quite a challenge in the agricultural soil, because 1% seems small number, but in practice is quite huge number. Yes. So then try to find the integrated practices to improve or to increase the amount of organic matter in the soil. Yep. Like the combination between fertilization and tillage, and also the cover croppings and so on. Yep. And for the explanation, so if we increase the 1% of the soil organic matter and can supply 0.5% can supply nutrients to 0.5% per hectare more. So this is from the calculation, like at this moment, at this state. So for example, if we have the soil that contain some level of the organic matter, and we can supply the nutrients for 1%, but then if we increase this amount, for example, from if we have this 10 ppm. Just for example, it's just the unrealistic or unreasonable number. if we have 10 ppm of, 10 grams of the soil organic matter, and then we increase by 1%, so that means the next step, the soil have 10.1 gram of the organic matter. So this 0.1 gram can serve the nutrients to half a person per hectare. So I'm not sure whether I answer your question or not.
Yeah, thank you, Orracha, for your answer. Is it okay, Mr. Ode? La Ode,
Yeah,
sorry.
thank you so much. Like it's enlightened me a lot, and I would do a lot of research about it. Thank you.
Okay, if you have any further question or you would like to discuss more detail, you can contact her via email.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's a very good solution.
Okay, now
May I get the PowerPoint as well?
distribute the materials later via e-log.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, now it's like the time is already past 5. As we are approaching the end of our session, we will conclude the discussion here. And on behalf of the committee, I would like to express already. Okay. On behalf of the committee, I would like to express our sincere appreciation to Dr. Orracha Sae-Tun for sharing her valuable knowledge and insight, especially about soil health and soil organic carbon sequestration. Please give applause for her. Yeah, and thank you for all participants for your active participation. We hope that this session has provided meaningful insight into advancing sustainable soil management practices. I apologize for any shortcomings during this session. Thank you very much, and I give back the time to the MC.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Orracha Sae-Tun, for being insightful lecturer about soil health and carbon sequestration for sustainable production. Would love to give the appreciation certificate that will be given by our moderator. May we give applause for the speakers? Thank you so much, Dr. Orracha. And we will also like to thank Dr. Rizky Maftuka, who led the discussion before, and the certificate of the appreciation will be given by the Vice Chairman of the short course program, Ms. Talia Nasya STP MSc MBA. May we give applause for the moderator? With the session of appreciation certificate already implemented, then the second material of the short course has been ended. For operators, you may stop the recording. Thank you.